Hey everyone, it's Dasha and welcome back to my channel where you guys will find English learning material, language learning tips and tricks, and personal development content. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel and that way you'll never miss a video. In today's video, I have a very ambitious goal of giving you guys the 50 most used English expressions that will make you sound like a native English speaker. So the way I'm gonna go about it is simply to explain the phrase and give you an example. And to make this even more interesting, I have a bonus at the end of this video, so make sure to watch it till the end. So let's get into it. Get over yourself. It means to stop thinking you're the most important thing and the most amazing person in the world. So let's say that you know someone who is so in love with themselves. Well, in that case, the next time that you see them and they're acting that way, you could just tell them, honey, get over yourself. Take a rain check. It means that you will cancel an event, but you will also reschedule it. The expression comes from the US and it relates to baseball games. So if it rained heavily for a match to be postponed, the ticket holders were given a rain check, which was basically a voucher for them to come and see the game at another day. So say you're meant to go out with a friend tonight, but you realize that you're actually busy, you will just tell them, hey, I think I need to take a rain check. That's rich. So this phrase is used to say that a criticism somebody is making is surprising and not reasonable because they have the same fault. So for example, let's say that I'm a very dishonest person and everybody around me knows that. And one day I say, oh, Bob is so dishonest. And then a friend turns around and tells me, oh, that's rich, Dasha, coming from you. My hands are tied. It means that there's nothing else that you can do about a situation because there's something preventing you from doing it. Let us say that you want your boss to give you an increase in your salary, but she says, oh, I'm really sorry, but my hands are tied. And that's because the increase of your salary is not her decision to make. Over the moon. So to be over the moon means to be super excited and extremely happy about something. Like, for example, you get into the university that you wanted to get into and you will say, I am over the moon about it. Fun fact, the expression actually comes from a 16th century nursery rhyme called Hey Diddle Diddle, which has absolutely zero meaning, and there's just a rhyme in there that says, hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. I have too many plates spinning. So this expression just means that you have way too many tasks going on at the same time, so it's almost like you're trying to balance and spin plates in the air at the same time, like a circus act. So let's say a colleague comes into your office and says, hey, did you get to see the email that I sent you this morning? And in that case, you can say, oh, I'm sorry, no, I didn't have time. I have way too many plates spinning at the moment. Keep in touch. To keep in touch means to continue communication with someone. So let's say you went on holiday and you met a really great person and you want to continue being friends. Before you guys say goodbye to each other, you could say, let's keep in touch, meaning let's still communicate in a way, like by email, Skype, or whatever. Pick your brain. It means to get information from someone. So let's say that you're working on a project and you get stuck at some point and run out of ideas. You could then ask a friend and say, hey, could I pick your brain for a minute? And you could just pick their brain by asking them questions and suggestions. Get the swing of it. To get the swing of it means to get used to something. So let's say that you just started to learn how to code and you worry that you're not good at it. In that case, your teacher could just tell you, oh, don't worry, you'll get the swing of it, meaning you will eventually get used to it. Push my buttons. It means to make someone annoyed or angry. Let's say you have a little sibling that can be a real pain in the butt. In that case, you can say, oh, she really knows how to push my buttons. Get real. Get real is used for telling someone that they should accept a situation for what it is and not hope for the impossible. So let's say you're a really bad student at school and one day you tell your friend that you want to get into Harvard. And that friend turns around and tells you, get real, meaning you're not gonna get into Harvard with your grades. What's eating you?
Kid, what's eating you?
It just means, is something wrong? Is there something bothering you? So let's say you see a friend and they're upset. You can just ask them, hey, what's eating you? Grab a bite to eat. To grab a bite to eat is just another way of saying to get something to eat. So you could also say, I'm gonna get some food, I'm gonna go out and get some lunch, and so on. To hit the sack, it means to go to bed, and you might have also heard the expression, I'm gonna hit the hay, which means the exact same thing. So if you're tired at the end of the day and you wanna call it a night, you can just say, I think I'm gonna hit the sack, which means I think I'm gonna go to bed. Hit the nail on the head. It's a great expression to use, and it means to be right about something. So say, for example, you're working in the marketing department at your company, you can say, oh, Jack really hit the nail on the head when he said that women wouldn't buy our products. Meaning he was right about the fact that women wouldn't buy our products. To walk it off. You'll use the phrase to walk it off when, for example, you hit your leg, but it's not that bad, so you can just walk off the pain until it goes away. You could also use this phrase after you had a really big meal to say that you will walk it off to help it digest. Fingers crossed. It means you hope for the best and wish good luck on something. You'll use the phrase when you really want something good to happen. So you can say, for example, I really hope I get into Oxford University, fingers crossed. And you can also cross your fingers when you say it. Get back to me. To get back to somebody means that you will come back to the person that asked you a question with the information that they wanted. So for example, let's say you call a shop to ask if they have a specific bag that you want, but that person doesn't know if that bag is in stock. They could just tell you, I'll get back to you, meaning they will give you a call back once they know whether or not that bag is in stock. Having the time of my life.
Now I had the time of my life.
It means to have lots and lots of fun. You could say, I went to South Korea last year and had the time of my life, meaning you absolutely loved it. And speaking of which, if you're having the time of your life right now and are enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. To wind down just means to relax. So, for example, imagine you had a really long, stressful day at the office or at university, and all you want to do is just go home and wind down, meaning you want to go home and just relax. Will do. Will do is a great expression that you can use in your everyday life, and it's a response to somebody asking you to do something. So think of it as saying, sure, I will do it. So let's say you're at work and your manager asks you to do a task. You can just reply by saying, okay, will do, or sure, will do. Earworm. Earworm means that you have a song stuck in your head and you can't get it out. It's like a worm that's stuck in your ear. And you can also use this word to describe a very catchy song. A drop in the ocean. You use it to say that a small contribution to, for example, a big project won't make a big difference. So for example, let's say that you need to raise $100 million for a construction project, and an investor contributes only $1,000. You could say in this instance that the $1,000 was just a drop in the ocean because it's such a small amount compared to the $100 million that you need for your project. Barking up the wrong tree. It means to waste time pursuing the wrong thing. As an example, let's say that you need money and you ask a friend that doesn't have money. In that case, they can say, hey buddy, you're barking up the wrong tree, because there's no point asking them since they don't have the money. This term comes from 19th century America when raccoon hunting was popular. The raccoons would trick the dogs into believing that they were up a certain tree when in fact they had escaped. So remember this story if you ever forget this phrase. To blow someone away. To blow someone away means to impress someone, and you can use it in a romantic context, like if you ever meet someone special and they blow you away because you were so impressed by them. You could also say that you were blown away by a book that you read or a play that you watched or even a movie. Water under the bridge. It means that something is in the past and no longer matters. So let's say you had a fight about something with your best friend. Then you forgive each other and you can say everything that you argued about is now water under the bridge. I couldn't care less. It's another way of saying that you really don't care about something, like I couldn't care less what people think about me. Cut corners. To cut corners means to do something in the easiest, cheapest, and fastest way possible. So let's say you want to build a house, but you don't want to spend a lot of money doing it. You can cut corners to keep those expenses low. The expression comes from a time when people would try to take a shorter route when traveling long distances. They would cut corners of roads in order to reach their destination faster. No biggie. It's a really easy expression and it just means no big deal. So let's say you are running late to an appointment with a friend and you eventually show up and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry that I'm late. They can say, no biggie. It's okay. That's on you. It simply means it's your fault. So it's like saying the responsibility was on you and so the fault is on you. But be careful, don't confuse this with it's on me, which means that you are buying something for someone at, say, a restaurant. I think I'll pass. It means you'd rather not and that you're rejecting something. So let's say a friend asks you, hey, do you want to go out tonight? And you don't really want to, so you can say, oh, I think I'll pass. Drive someone up the wall. It's very similar to pushing someone's buttons and it means to annoy or irritate a person. So you could say something like, oh, my manager really drove me up the wall the other day, meaning they did something to irritate you and make you angry. Something got out of hand. When something gets out of hand, it means that something gets out of control. And this something is usually a situation. So for example, you could say that you were at a meeting, but then something went wrong and the meeting got out of hand because people started to argue suddenly. Out of this world. Out of this world describes a situation that's just amazing. You watched a great movie. You can say it was out of this world. You read a great book. You can say it was out of this world. Literally anything could be out of this world. Take something with a pinch of salt. This is an expression to mean that you don't have to take something that someone says literally or believe all of it. Let's say you have a friend that always exaggerates. And you could say that you take everything he says with a pinch of salt because, well, he's most likely exaggerating or not telling the truth, so you can't really take him seriously. That ship has sailed. It means that an opportunity has just passed and it's no longer available. An example would be a situation where, let's say, I used to be a gymnast when I was younger, but I never got to compete. I could say that it's too late for me to compete and that ship has sailed. Leave no stone unturned. It means that you take every possible opportunity to achieve something, but it's normally used in the context of searching for something. So let's say that John is a scientist. You could say that John left no stone unturned when he was researching how to cure this disease. I'll be the judge of that. It's something you would say when you really want to insist on expressing your opinion. So let's say I bake a pie and I tell you it's a really good pie, but you turn around and tell me, I'll be the judge of that. Meaning you will be the one to tell me whether or not my pie actually tastes good. Once in a blue moon. If you take this expression literally, it would mean that something occurs every 2.5 years because that's how often we actually get to see a blue moon. But this expression is not meant to be taken literally. It just means that something happens rarely. Like say for example, I rarely go to the gym. I could also say, I go to the gym once in a blue moon, meaning I hardly ever go there. Pull yourself together.
Oh my God, pull yourself together!
You'll use this phrase when someone has broken down emotionally and they're crying, and you can tell them that they should just pull themselves together and basically calm down. To sit on the fence. It means to be undecisive, and you'll often hear this in the context of an election where a voter is on the fence. It means that they haven't decided which person to vote for. Or you can use it in the context of, let's say, when you're buying something and you can't choose between two things. Let's say you're buying a car and you can't choose between a Volvo and a Mercedes. You could say, I'm on the fence with that one. Your guess is as good as mine. When someone asks you for a piece of information or if you know something, instead of saying, I don't know, you could say, your guess is as good as mine. Step it up. It means that you have to try harder, work harder to achieve something. So let's say that you really want to get promoted at your job, but your boss tells you, well, if you want to get a promotion, you better step it up, meaning you need to work a lot harder in order to get that promotion. Piece of cake.
It's like no problem whatsoever. Piece of cake, piece of crumb cake.
When something is a piece of cake, it means it's really, really easy. Like, oh, this test was a piece of cake. A very similar expression is, it's as easy as pie. Top notch. When something is top notch, it means that it's of a very, very high quality. For example, this TV is top notch, or this phone is top notch. Cross that bridge when we get there. It means that we'll worry about an issue or a problem only when it arises. So let's say we are programming an app. And I'm thinking about 100 different issues that could arise. But my colleague stops me and says, hold on, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Meaning, let's worry about those issues when and if they actually arise. Hold your horses. When somebody tells you to hold your horses, they mean, hold on a second, don't rush, like calm down. For example, you're planning a party for a friend and you're discussing your ideas with someone. And you're so excited that you're making too many plans and you're rushing. Your friend could just stop you at one point and say, whoa, 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 hold your horses, slow down. Let's take it a step at a time. To pull someone's leg. To pull someone's leg means to trick someone or to tease them, but not in a nasty way. Just really, really jokingly. So let's say I tell you, oh, I traveled 50 countries in a week. I can then turn around and say, oh, I'm only pulling your leg because I obviously couldn't possibly travel 50 countries in a week. Call it a day. You would usually say it when, say, you're at work or studying at the library and you decide to stop and you will say to your friend, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Meaning you're gonna go home. And on that note, I think I'm gonna call it a day with this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. For those of you who stuck around till the end, can now enjoy the bonus, which is a list of these 50 phrases that you can find in the description box below. I hope you guys loved this video, and if you did, let the YouTube algorithm know by hitting that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more English learning videos like this one. Till next time, bye!